Hey, welcome back to Turton Talks, and we're here with the Nottingham Forest versus Leeds preview, the first one of the season. So let's go strong. It's Forest versus Leeds, and I'm joined by Leeds fan Russ. Good evening, Russ.
Good evening, Luke. How are we?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. You?
All good, mate. Thank you. Looking forward to the new season, and also I'm looking forward to taking on your boys not once but twice in the opening few days of the season.
Yes, indeed. If playing Leeds at home wasn't enough on Saturday, we get to do it all over again on Tuesday as well. We'll also talk about that a little bit later in the week when I do the preview for the Carabao Cup game. However, Russ, what are your general thoughts going into this Premier League clash then?
I think I'm really confident about this one. I think Leeds have had a really good window. Made some good signings. We've looked strong in pre-season. Only one defeat in our pre-season campaign this summer. So I'm not counting the penalty defeat to Manchester United. But I think it's been a good pre-season. Everybody's looking sharp. Everyone's looking strong. So I'm looking forward to, as I say, only one defeat in pre-season, which came against Wrexham. Well, the others were a win against Sunderland, win against Liverpool, which was a really good Liverpool side. Went 2-0 down, come back to win 4-2 in that one. Beat Sunderland 1-0. Drew with Manchester United, as I mentioned, on 12th of August. But before that, we played Leipzig over two 60-minute periods in that one and won 2-0. And then we played Augsburg, who are no slouches, neither Leipzig, who finished third and ninth, respectively, in the Bundesliga last season. And we've beat both of them, scoring 6 goals in the process, 4 against Augsburg. So, really good confidence boost for Leeds there with good wins on the board. When I look at the Forest pre season results, which I've not really been keeping up that much, but I've looked here and there of some beating Notts County, Blackburn, which you would probably expect to be both of those where you are in the compared to where those teams are in the divisions. Then drew with Vitória de Guimarães in Portugal before beating Portimonense in Portugal as well, before losing to Sporting, which on that one you had two different sides out, so I can understand that. Same with losing 1-0 to Udinese and Barcelona. Good win against Bayer Leverkusen, who are no slouches. They've won the Bundesliga before, but of Bayer Leverkusen and then beating Brest as well, which is a no mean feat. They're a good, decent side as well. So you've had a decent mixed pre-season, 3 defeats, a lot of wins, on the one draw in there as well. So both teams are coming to a very good confidence. However, the Forest won matches up 2-1 and 2-0, whereas Leeds in their last few matches have scored 5, conceded 1, whereas Forest they've scored 4, conceded 1. So Leeds just probably have the edge in terms of clinical finishing. But I think it'll be a good game nevertheless, and one I'm really looking forward to, and one I think we could take the points off of Nottingham Forest under a new boss, Oliver Glasner as well.
Yes, so just to give a little bit more context to our preseason, we did also have a behind closed door game against Coventry that wasn't widely listed anywhere. The day before we played Stade Brest, which is why the Stade Brest game was as low a score as it was. We played a second string team for that game against Stade Brest, where um, we played basically nets, and I think it was like John Victor, Maria, Jair. I think then Marato played. Um, we basically played our second string team. Hardly any of our first teamers played in that game, apart from arguably Javier Schlager and Dominguez. Hudson Odoi played in that preseason game, but in terms of any of our big hitters, they played in the Coventry game the day before.
Yeah, I did notice that Chris Wood scored in that game, and you'd expect
Yeah.
him to probably leave the line more this season with the departure of Taiwo Awoniyi to Coventry City. So would expect Wood to play a bit more this season. I did know he scored in that game. As you mentioned, Nets played and scored in that game as well against Brest. So you'd probably expect those two maybe to feature a bit more with Taiwo leaving the club, in my opinion. Look, I don't know if you would agree with that there. And behave
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. Paul says both teams are poor. I say 0-0. Okay. That's your opinion. I I think that with our strike force, we probably will have a mix of Wood and Jesus, and then have Kylie Mwendo alongside Gibbs White probably at points. You've also got Ndoye, you've got Hudson Odoi, you've also got Amari Hutchinson and James McAtee. So we're quite loaded in the number 10's role because Glasgow play 3-4-2-1 with no actual wingers as such. It's wing backs, then inverted forwards. But if I just move us on slightly, your signings, Russ, talk to me about them. Oh, you're on mute, Russ.
Sorry there, Luke. Yes, as I was saying, Leeds' first bit of business that we did was Harry Wilson coming in from Fulham, which is a good bit of business on a free transfer, especially considering we linked him in January and almost got him in January as well, which is a very good signing for us. In my opinion, in a former Leeds player's opinion as well, that he'll take Leeds to the next level. The former Leeds player I speak about that is Glyn Snodding, who I saw the other week in my local town. And a nice chat about Leeds, and he reckons Wilson will take us to that next level. Then our second signing of the summer came through Tarek Removic, who has come in to replace Pascal Struijk, who's gone on to is playing for Brighton now, and he's playing for them in the Europa Conference League this evening on Thursday evening. So good luck to Pascal there. But I think for me, we've upgraded in that role with Tarek Removic just coming in. You've seen where if you've watched our preseason matches, you've seen him play remarkably, really, really well in our preseason matches that he has featured in. Had a bit of time away due to playing in the World Cup with Bosnia and Herzegovina in that one there. So he's a decent. I think he's an upgrade on Pascal Struijk in that position. And then after him came the big money signing for £45 million, and yes, 45 Great British pounds, and the club Leeds United's club record signing in James Trafford. And you saw what he can do against Manchester United in the game in Dublin, which was his first appearance in a Leeds shirt after his exploits being out of the World Cup with England. We saw what he was like when he was at Burnley and when he was with Manchester City in the club games that season. I think he's going to be an upgrade on what we've had in recent years in goal, and hopefully, fingers crossed and touching a lot of wood around it, no pun intended, before us having a striker called Wood, that I think he will be a very big upgrade in that position. And then another upgrade on that we've fetched in is Nico Elvedi from Mönchengladbach, which I think is going to be another good signing for the club, especially with the players who have gone out with the likes of Joe Gellart, who's gone out in the last week or so to all sit on a permanent basis. We've also loaned out Sebastian Bornau and Joel Perot to Hamburg and West Ham respectively. Youngsters Harry Gray, Charlie Crew, Ruben Lapatuat have also gone out on loans, and then we've released a few youngsters and the players who are in around the first team. Ilan Meslier now at Arsenal on a free transfer. According to reports, has done well for Arsenal, but he never really established himself as a key player for Leeds under Falk since the promotion winning season. Jack Harrison, Joe Gellar, briefly touched upon Gellar, are more fringe players who didn't really play much. Schmidt has moved on as well to another fringe player to Young Boys, and then Struijk I mentioned gone to Brighton for an undisclosed fee there. So some good signings that we've made, and I'm pretty happy with the window we've had so far, Luke, in my opinion.
Okay, so where do you see the key battles being in this game, Russ?
I'll probably say the midfield, Luke, because Leeds, Leeds play three at the back, 4 in midfield, 2 and then 1. So similar to Forest, as you mentioned, as you set up earlier. And we have Bogle, and he's normally Gabriel Goodmanson as his wing backs, but Goodmanson is injured, and I'll go to the team news a little bit later on from what Falk said earlier today. So for me, I think the key battles will be in midfield, where Ampadu, if he's on it, he's going to be a key for us in that midfield area. And I feel like not only Ampadu, Stack can do a good job in there, Wilson can do a decent job for us. And so there's going to be a number of key battles. I think the midfield is mainly where it will be, but then it'd be interesting to see if Forest can break down the wall of the defence that we've built over this summer with Joe Roden on the right, Jakub Biol in the centre, and then Tarek Mehmovic on the left of the back three, with Bogle and Justin dropping back to make it a back 5, and then pushing forward in. Also, when it says, look out, down our right-hand side, and he's happened quite a lot in pre-season, and he happened towards back end of last season as well. Joe Rodon, the overlapping centre-back. You may remember Chris Batcham doing that for Sheffield United under Chris Wilder. I think that's what Falk's doing with Rodon. Been good on some good overlapping runs, and he's against Leipzig, did one of his overlapping runs, pull the ball across, and he did set up Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so you need to look out for that between movement and bit of interchange there as well. So for me, that is where. So, but for me overall, the midfield is where the key battles are. It's going to be for me.
Yes, Russ. Sorry, I'm just chuckling at Strong Woman's comment on Twitch. Good evening, sir, from your uneducated football nutter. Talk to me about rugby league or union, and I might have a clue. No, I'm just talking to football, Strong Woman, and just kind of irritating you at the same time. But welcome in. Thank you for tuning in over on Twitch. Yes. So, what are your thoughts on the Forest window then, looking from afar?
Yes, so I've not really looked to what Nottingham Forest have done. I've just had to have a brief look before we come on air, and I think some players coming club in terms of first team options. I think Yavis Slager has done a decent job. Did well in the World Cup with Switzerland. I think he'll be a decent addition. I'm not sure whether he would get into the line. I'm not really seeing much of Usman Diomande that much in my opinion, so I can't really say much on him. And Stephen Bender, he didn't really play much for Fulham, so I think that's going to be an interesting one. You had to replace Ortega, and I think Ortega going out and being released was a big one because for me in games he played last season, Luke, I think he saved you more points than you lost when he was in the side. I think he was probably a better upgrade on John Victor, and I think John Victor should have probably left over Stefan Ortega. So I think that could be a mistake letting him go, looking from afar. Jota Silva going out on loan. I don't think he played that much as he would have wanted. Tell 1 year, I think that's going to be a big miss. I mentioned previously. I thought Wood and Ness may get a bit more people involved, more opportunities now. 1 year's left. And Elliot Anderson, I think Elliot Anderson, Luke, that will probably be a big miss for your midfield as well. We saw how key he was for Nottingham Forest last season. And we've seen how key he has been for England in the World Cup that we've had. So I think that those players I've just listed, that could be some of those players could be key big misses for Nottingham Forest. And I think if you don't replace them well enough, because I don't really know what I don't really see much of Schlager, but in terms of the centre back, I'm not really seeing much of Diomande, and Bender. I'm not really sure if he's an upgrade on Ortega, so I don't think you've done well there. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes if your first choice goalkeeper does get injured and Bender has to play. I think that could be a big problem for you, and that's where you may struggle this season, Luke.
Yeah, I agree. Javier Schlager is obviously Austrian, Russ, not Swiss. So I just want to correct you on that one.
Yeah, I did.
But
I did look at the. I looked at the thing and was like, was that is it Austrian or Swiss? So, but I knew one of them two. I just couldn't work it out from the flag. That's all. That's all.
but I take your point nevertheless. Diamande is one that Glasner has chased for some time. He wanted him at Crystal Palace, so I think it's good that we are backing the manager with options with he actually wanted Schlager, Diamande. He obviously won no Schlager from Werder Bremen, and he's wanted Diamande at Crystal Palace past couple of windows. As for Stephen Bender and the Ortega situation, I think Stefan Ortega made a decision himself. He wants to go out and get game time. Any goalkeeper that comes in will always be behind Matt Sells. So, to be honest, I think we're just looking at one that's got a bit more English experience than John Victor, because John Victor scares the absolute life out of any Nottingham Forest fan because he just doesn't know what he's doing. His distribution leaves a lot to be desired. I'm going to move us on slightly and give us a little bit of an update from Oliver Glasner's press conference now. We have two players that are going to miss the meeting with Leeds. Nicola Savona has not made it back yet from the injury he picked up in the first half of last season. He underwent surgery in March, and he's had a bit of a setback during pre-season, so he's going to be missing for the first game of the season. We probably won't see him until about probably September, October anyway, because he's got to get up to match shots. And the other one, which is a bit of a confusing one actually, is Ryan Yates is going to be missing. He played the 45 minutes in the second half against Bayer Leverkusen and then didn't play either game against either Coventry or Stade Brestois. So he's not going to make the matchday squad either. Everybody else is fit. I think they've got different levels of fitness because Amari Hutchinson was a slight doubt, but he played the second half of the Brest game. Wood obviously has just come back in after an injury himself in pre-season, so there's different levels of fitness. Ibrahim Sangare is about a week behind everybody else in terms of game time, but Glasgow seems very confident the rest of them will be able to make the squad. So we shall see what he selects on the day. Russ, you have some team newsy updates from Daniel Farker's press conference.
Yes, and Leeds, like Forest, have only got two players out of this game. Rest of the squad is available for selection. The two players who will miss the Leeds United game is Willie Nonto. He'll miss the game because of an hamstring injury. He picked up that hamstring injury against Manchester United in Dublin towards the back end of that, but he still took a reasonably good penalty in the penalty shootout against Manchester United in Dublin. And Falk says that we hope to have Nonto back in team training soon, but he'll miss this game. And also, due to an hamstring injury, will also be without first choice left back Gabriel Goodmanson. But those are the only two that will be out. Everybody else is fit and available. So that includes new signing Nico Elvede, who only joined training for the first time yesterday. But everybody else fit and raring to go. With Elvede, I think we may see more in the cup game that we have after this one, Luke. But I think everybody else fit and raring to go. If you had to give me to pick a starting 11, I think it would be similar to the one that we started last week in the Augsburg game, which we'll see Brendan Aronson and Harry Wilson start behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We'll have Anton Stack and Ethan Ampadu in the midfield. The back five for that one, or back five will be James Justin, the left wing back, Jaden Bogle, the left wing back, Joe Rodon, Jakobiol, and Tarek Mremovic is your back three, and then James Trafford in goal. Also, a bit of news: Joe Rodon yesterday signed a new contract, new 4-year deal with Ellen Road till 2030, and then earlier on Thursday, Jaden Bogle also signed a new deal till 2030 to keep him at Ellen Road as well. There's other players in the pipeline for new contracts, from what I've heard as well, and what Falker was saying earlier. So some big new contracts handed out, and Falk's contract up end of this upcoming season we don't want to speak about that yet. He said in his press conference, he did speak about Nico Elvedi, who said with us for the first time yesterday. CV speaks for himself. He's played 11 years for one club, which says a lot about him as a position in terms of loyalty. Played in the World Cup quarterfinals, defended every striker at top level. It also had to do with Sebastian Bornau, who wanted to go. He said, "We value Bornau a lot, but if a player behaves so professionally, we'll also listen to their wishes, and he wants to play every game. We couldn't guarantee that with Sebastian Bornau." He says, "And we had the chance to bring in Nico Elvedi. Comes ready for this challenge, new energy. He's very flexible, can play central, right or left, which gives us more cover in all positions." And he says Elvedi is a perfect fit for Leeds United as well. But he's going about the side which he wants to do, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to give anything too much away to any Nottingham Forest fans listening in and out. Falk wants Leeds to play this season, so you'll have to wait and see how that goes on the City Ground this weekend.
Okay, so a few updates then on Forest's window as it stands. I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I went through about 5 or 6 different players in a row. I'm just going to go through and give you the updates as I see them. John Percy came out with an update about 4:30 today. Nottingham Forest want to sign a new forward for deadline, but Arnaud Calimawendo is expected to stay. Calimawendo was signed from Rennes for 25 million last year and spent the second half of the season on loan at Eintracht Frankfurt. Glasner was quoted as saying, "The intention is that he stays here. Our goal is to keep him." So it seems that Arnaud Calimawendo has won over Oliver Glasner in pre-season, and he looks now to be staying at the City Ground. So that's one that I'm heavily in favour of, because I think he's got something that every other striker that we have at the club doesn't offer so far. So happy with that. There's been a huge amount of talk over the past day and a half about Dodo, the Fiorentina right back. That seems to be picking up pace from the Italian end. Nothing yet has been reported of concreteness from the English end, but if you believe everything you read on social media, he's close. Then again, if you did, then we'd be signing about 20 million players by now. But he's the closest, I'd say, to probably coming if you're looking at links. There's also talk of Yusuf Fofana. I did go through Yusuf Fofana, I think, in the previous video with his stats and things. But I think that he's one that we've looked at last window, played for France in the World Cup. I don't know, honestly, my thoughts on that one. We've also been looking at Caicedo, who plays at Barcelona. Apparently, he wants to leave Barcelona. I think that's a bit of a pipe dream target, but if it happens, apparently it's got rave reviews. So again, we'll wait and see on that one. And one that's been heavily overlapping across about 3 English teams is Liam Delap. Now, I know that Leeds were also linked with Liam Delap over the past few hours. Honestly, again, I think he's the closest player around at the minute that's closest to Wood. I previously said in the video that I'd be in favour of Liam Delap as an option. Gives us a bit kind of a younger version that Wood can school. However, genuinely, if we go for another striker, it honestly wouldn't bother me as long as the option is going to give us something that we don't already have and is an upgrade on what we don't already have. It doesn't have to be Delap, so I'm not hanging my hopes on any of our targets so far. We'll see what comes out and what happens. Glasner wants to get 2 additions in for the end of the window. I personally would say we probably need 3. Add an extra midfielder into the mix. But if he's convinced that James McAtee can do the job that the other midfielders can't, then who am I to argue? Anyway, Russ, any further transfer dealings for Leeds throughout the window?
Those are the ones I mentioned so far, which we've got done. We are in talks with a number of players who are coming up towards the end of the contracts. Next one, I believe, is when Aaron Soon's going to be offered a new and improved contract at the club. You mentioned there about Liam Delap, Leeds, Forest, Everton, all want value around 40 million. Chelsea sources to Talksport have said it's going to be around about 50 million that they're wanting. Well, the clubs that I've just mentioned there, Leeds, Forest, and Everton, believe they can get it done for around about 40 million pounds with that one. So that's all I've seen so far, Luke. With any real concrete offers, but nothing else concrete out there from this either English side or the foreign side where the players are playing for the clubs or whatever as it stands right now.
Okay, so now I'm going to get to Nottingham Forest's favourite part of the video. I say sarcastically. Match officials. The referee is Robert Jones. And I'm just going to give you the VAR. That's Craig Paulson. The rest of them, no real kind of relevance to me. It's just the VAR and the referee. They're the ones that get majority of the kind of hype during the games for the majority of the time. Robert Jones is the important one. Let's hope he doesn't decide to do another Willy Bolly on us, because that was just horrendous a couple of seasons ago. But yes, Robert Jones is the referee for this one. So let's not expect too much in terms of decisions going our way in that one. We're just going to have to play around the referee and just hope that we don't rely on any decisions.
Yeah, with Robert Jones as well. I'm just bringing up his. I'm about to bring up his stats for last season in all competitions. I'm not going to go through everything, but his stats last season, he did 27 games in total across the Premier League, Championship, Conference League, international friendlies, Champions League qualification, and the EFL Cup. He issued 115 yellow cards, no 2 yellow cards, no red cards, and he gave 8 penalty kicks in total across the 25-26 campaign. And one game that I refereed for you last season, Luke, was on 27th of December against Manchester City, where he issued 3 yellow cards in that game, and he also issued 8 yellow cards in the game where Leeds come back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. That's the last ones he refereed for both Nottingham Forest and Leeds, because he also refereed Leeds in their 2-1 defeat against Aston Villa at Ellen Road as well. But that's the way one. It was a 2-2 draw against Chelsea. No last one with him in charge was a 2-1 defeat to Manchester City. So let's see who comes out on top with this one. He's done a defeat, and also you did the draw for Leeds. Let's hope this one is a win.
Poor that I had to invite the stats, didn't I? Well, Russ decided to insert the stats on Robert Jones, and I will gladly have the information.
Sorry, Paul, if you didn't like
okay.
that bit of information there.
All right, so the second to last thing that we need to do this evening is, Russ, your score prediction.
Right, for me, Luke, I think we can keep a clean sheet. I don't see how Forest can get through our brick wall of the 3-man defence in Rodon, Biol, and Removic. And I think we're going to score goals. And I think we are going to win by 2-0 this weekend. But I'm not sure on the scorers just yet.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Forest win. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. I just think that so far our back line has a bit of work to do with adding Diamande in second to last game of the pre-season. I honestly believe that there's a bit of work to do there, but I'm confident we can start the season well. Get a 2-1 win in the bag. And Paul is still sticking with his 0-0. So here we go with that one. Russ, if anybody does want to hear more from you, where can they find you?
Over on the commentary of the Commentary Live 1 here on YouTube, and also the Commentary Live 1 on X as well. If anyone wants to follow us over there, we'll post out some games that we've got coming up. So we've got just to let people know what we've got coming up on the commentary hub, if you don't mind me as well, Luke. We've got the opening game of the Premier League season between Arsenal and Coventry tomorrow night. I'm on presenting duties. Dan Money and Mike Horniman on the commentary side. Paul James, the man who's in the chat, doing the changing of the screens. And then we've got a game from the National League on Saturday lunchtime with Nicholas Jones. And then we've got some Premier League action on Sunday as well. So make sure you come and check us out there. The Premier League match on Sunday, we'll see Newcastle against Liverpool, where both clubs will remember the late, great Kevin Keegan.
Okay, well, if you have made it this far over on YouTube, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also do check out the Commentary Hub as well and drop them a subscribe if you haven't already. But thank you, Russ, for coming on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Luke, and good to always have a chat with you ahead of the games. And if all being well, I'll be back on after both our matches to review both of our matches from a Leeds perspective as well. So good luck. Look, what I'll say is good luck for the season, but not for the fixtures when you play against Leeds United.
Yes, indeed. Russ will be back for the reviews of both the league and the cup game after the cup game, just due to scheduling of things. The review for the league game will hopefully be with Phil. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you are over on Twitch, don't forget to drop me a follow if you are watching it live now or on the VOD later. But yes, thank you guys for watching, and a very good evening to you all. And goodbye for now.
Thank you, guys.